Well, I'm off to Ohio. What a mission tonight. And what a mission tonight. I'm going to train the babies tomorrow. I got to change all the sets because Kelly wanted our open house set list for Saturday, but we got to train the horses first. So I had Jason print out all the sets for tomorrow. And then we all we have left is the open house on Saturday. So today was a training day at the farm. I was really happy with what I saw. We did scratch punch the clock. She's fine now, but did have a temperature for a few days, was acting a little sick. So we were planning on going around between 2:15 and 2:18, 2:19 with the horses today. And the extra day, probably, to be honest, punch the clock, give her a day off, train her tomorrow by herself a mile in 2:20, a little more relaxed than that set mentality might be a little more beneficial for her. So James is going to train her tomorrow morning at the farm in 2:20, around there, rather than going with her today in the set. So everybody else was in action for the most part. Time is on my side. Mounds for all, Rito's Lady and McPaisley went in the first set. Now, I didn't put myself in the first set. I didn't know how long I'd be getting to the barn, and I had the horses I wanted to go with, and I could have moved some around. I said, you know what? Just let them go, and if I get there in time, I'll watch the first set, and if I don't get there in time, at least they're not waiting for me. So, looked like a very good group finishing up. Time is on my side, and Rito's Lady finished together. Mounds for All and McPaisley were right there, kind of in tandem, right behind them. I believe James said they went a mile in 2:16 off a half in 1:09, 1:10. So, a real good set there. All four of them finished right beside each other. Truthfully, I was keeping a real close eye on McPaisley. I hadn't seen her in a couple of weeks. You know, it's one thing to have somebody say, yeah, she trained well. It's another thing to keep your eyes on her. And I liked what I saw from her today. She looked, at least to me, a lot more confident in her gait, was pacing really strong through the wire. So I was happy with what I saw from McPaisley. Now, I was in action the next two sets. The next set I went with Seasons of Love, and the last set I went with Ready for Landing. Now, Seasons of Love, I told you guys we'd made some shoeing changes, changed her equipment around a little bit. I wanted to see how she was today. I popped out of the 2-hole in the last turn. Winter Bells was to my flank coming out of the turn. We finished together, right together, 1-2. Now, James said Winter Bells was on the left shaft, as Amy said a little bit, but pacing well, on the right line, maybe a hair. So, when I look at that, and James and I talked about it after. When I look at it, I don't think it's a stifle or a hawk or anything like that, or a splint, because she's done this for a very long time now. I wanted to go over my notes that we had from the veterinarian in Winter Bells this year, but I suspect what we're going to find is a little, maybe what the vet had called a little flat spot in her joint, right hind, I would guess, which would indicate, you know, there was maybe a little issue with her right hind ankle. If that's the case, we could put some acid in that right hind ankle and then find out, is that going to be a problem? Is that going to be a problem moving forward? Is it time to maybe look at managing it? Or is it simply, we'll just put a Murphy blind on her and maybe a gating strap if we have to move her forward? James didn't think the gating strap was necessary, but he thought that maybe the Murphy blind would help. So a little equipment change, very tiny equipment change coming up for Winter Bells. But he said, Anthony, she was very, very strong, very green. But he said you could tell she's got a lot of speed, which is good. Widespread Panic was good, but I thought his hobbles were a bit tight. Danny and I talked about it after. I said, Danny, this guy's not in the same rush as everybody else. I think mentally he's quite a few steps behind these guys, and I don't see him racing before August probably. So put the work into him, but try and teach him along the way. He's a little bit strong in the face, so rather than just moving him to the front, we're going to try and bury him in behind everybody, whether he likes it or not, for the next little while. He's going to have to learn how to do it properly. So, who else went? I won the set with Seasons of Love, I believe. James and I are right beside each other. Winter Bells and Seasons of Love were right beside one another. J-Port Beach Boy was just to the inside of us. And then Widespread Panic and Lonely Lakewood. Johnny said he kind of wandered in the last turn. Now, we made a shoeing change on him, so it was important. I spoke to Johnny about this. Said, was he trotting good? He said, yes. He said, but the only time I ever feel him touching himself to the point where maybe he needed that shoeing change was deep in the stretch when we're really trotting wide open. I didn't get a chance to because he kind of wandered out, and I felt, I found myself the next eighth of a mile just trying to straighten him, steady him, and put him in the straight and narrow. So I didn't really get to that top speed, but he felt like he was trotting good. So I'll take that as a gain as far as his gait is concerned, and we'll have a better idea probably Friday when we train them again. We're not going to go hard, but I may have a set of horses that might be due for a good tightening up that are ready to go a little faster, and I suspect this guy would be one of them also. We think very highly of him, Lonely Lakewood, and I think he's one of our best horses, but we have to stay on top of them also. If he didn't work the greatest today, then we'll work him very hard on Friday. But Johnny thought mechanically he was okay. Now, in the last set, Ready for Landing, I told you guys, I really have to give myself a pep talk when I go to train Ready for Landing and know that, listen, there's a chance he might make a break, and there's no point getting angry about it because he's trying to learn his way. We took the hobbles off of him. I actually put him on the front, which I couldn't do before. He trotted through all the turns, did make a break in that tighter turn after the mile, but if I had any issues, I think he was on the right line a little bit more, but I had him hung up to run in. We had the Murphy blind outside, and I put the line pole in a very loose hole, so he was kind of on the right line the whole way. But that is kind of how he trotted through the turns. When we have him straight or running out a little bit in the turns, he's more apt to make a break, and I can't tell you why. I can't really tell you why he does that, but that's what he'll do. So I went the other way with him. We hung him up to actually running a little bit. He was good in the straightaways, but in the turns, but strong down the lane. Now, Insider Trading blew by me down the lane, blew by everybody down the lane. Amy was going with Insider Trading, and she was gone. I was second, I believe, but George the Jungle might beat me for second. He was right there beside me. Flash Fly was right there also. Watch Your Mouth was on the inside. Great Bet. Everybody was right together, but Insider Trading kind of left us in her dust down the lane. She won by 2 lengths, and everybody else was kind of right in that pack together. I was happy with everybody, but ecstatic with Insider Trading, and quite frankly, happy with Ready for Landing that he did his work. I wish he had trotted through that turn afterwards, but it is what it is. Again, he's wearing very little weight up front. He's a weird horse. And aluminum shoes on him, yet he's got 2 sets of bell boots on, which makes no sense. But we decided to go the other way with him. Now, I did ask Preston to put a set of bars on him. I thought that if anything, running in a bit, maybe a little off right front, maybe we'll switch him up. At this point, there's going to be a lot of trial and error with Ready for Landing now, taking the hobbles off him, adding the bell boots, changing his equipment. We'll continue to shuffle around a little bit until we have it perfect. But I was happy with what I saw from him today. It still, to be quite frank, it didn't feel like he had turned a corner. It just felt like he was more focused today, that he was comfortable doing his work and what I was asking him to do. I would love to come out and say, hey, just today was a different day. Today he felt like he had finally turned that corner. No, he just felt like he understood his work and was focused a little more today, and it was easier to keep him trotting. So we'll continue to chip away, though. I was happy with what I saw from him today, and I think we're moving forward when it comes to Ready for Landing. So as you can see, I'm heading to the border. I'll be at the border in 15 minutes, and then in Northfield Park in another 3 hours or so. And then I might take some of those flyers and put them on windshields at Northfield Park. I don't even know if I'm allowed to do that. It just seems like one of those situations where it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. So maybe do that for a little while, and then we have What a Mission tonight to drive. Tomorrow we have all the babies that are going to training. I have to change all those sets when I get to Northfield Park, and then train all the babies tomorrow and race all the horses tomorrow night. Who do we got? We have Coop and Irish in together. Chris Lems is going to do the driving on Smoking Hot Irish Girl. We have Dustin Hanover and Stonebridge Hecate tomorrow. But today is first. We have What a Mission and a number of horses racing all over the place. We have 3 in Kentucky. We have 3 in Kentucky. We have 1 in Ohio. Is that what we have 4? No, jeepers. We have Crantini also in Pennsylvania. So 5 on the go tonight. A number of horses throughout the rest of the week, but I got a number of the horses I'm going to keep a very close eye on today and tomorrow on the track and in the sets. With that, I'll let you go. I hope you guys had a great day, a great morning. It was a really nice day in Ontario. Very happy with what I saw. I know I told you the first set, all the horses have been around 15 or 16. They're all getting ready to go, and by May the 28th, they'll be ready to go behind the gate and school at Grand River at our open house. So with that, I'll let you go. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.